Coronation Street's Tim Metcalfe could have landed himself in trouble tonight, following the death of his cousin Richie's wife Rachel. As Richie's daughter Lucy struggled to make sense of the traumatic event, Tim was left feeling guilty about his involvement. The episode began with a blood-curdling scream in the early hours of the morning, as Tim and Sally raced down the stairs to find Lucy in hysterics. They realized she had been sleepwalking and was having a horrible nightmare. Brody Michaelis empathized with Lucy, recalling how his dad used to hit his mum. But when Lucy heard him accusing Richie of murdering Rachel, she angrily claimed it was self-defense. "I know what happened, I was there. She was going at him with a knife, and if he hadn't hit her with the doorstop, she would have killed him," Lucy said. "It wasn't my dad's fault. He did nothing wrong." Shocked by the news, Tim felt extra guilty about convincing Richie to give his marriage another try. He attempted to ease his conscience by saying Sally should have let Richie stay with them, leaving Sally unimpressed. Meanwhile, Lily Platt saw Lucy alone in Victoria Garden, but the latter wasn't in the mood for making friends. When Lily called her a freak, Lucy's temper flared and Jody Ramsey was forced to intervene. While breaking up the fight, Jody's arm got scratched by the newcomer, leaving a bloody wound which Sally managed to patch up. Lucy claimed it was an accident and Sally believed her, turfing Jody and Lily out of the house. Later, Lucy chastised Sally for telling Jody about her mum, and questioned why her dad even came back to the house after saying he was gonna leave Rachel. "None of this had to happen," Lucy stated, with Tim pretending he didn't know why Richie returned either. After Lucy stormed off again, Sally asked Tim why he lied, and he explained that he didn't want to upset her. But Sally warned him that she's going to be even more upset when she finds out what really happened. How far will Tim go to keep the truth from the troubled teen? Trouble could be brewing for Sally Metcalfe and Tim Metcalfe as a dangerous lie threatens to create even more chaos in their lives on Coronation Street. Sally has never been one to stay quiet when she believes something is wrong. While she may sometimes become caught up in the drama surrounding her family, she has a strong sense of right and wrong. That could soon put her at odds with Tim, particularly when she realizes that he has not been completely honest with her. The latest storyline appears set to explore just how far Tim is prepared to go to protect himself and those around him. What begins as an attempt to avoid trouble could quickly turn into a much bigger problem. Tim has found himself under increasing pressure, and rather than facing the situation head-on, he appears ready to tell a lie that could have serious consequences. The problem is that keeping a secret in Weatherfield is rarely straightforward. Before long, cracks could begin to appear in Tim's story. Sally is particularly likely to notice when something does not add up. She knows Tim well, and although their relationship has survived plenty of difficult moments, she can recognize when he is hiding something. At first, Sally may simply question Tim about his behavior. She could ask where he has been, why he is acting strangely, or whether there is something he has failed to tell her. Tim, however, may insist that everything is fine. That denial could be the first warning sign. Rather than admitting the truth, Tim could decide that the safest option is to continue with his lie. Unfortunately for him, Sally may not be convinced. As the pressure increases, Sally could issue Tim with a serious warning. She may make it clear that whatever he is hiding needs to come out before the situation becomes impossible to control. Sally could also remind Tim that one lie often leads to another, and that covering up the truth can cause far more damage than simply admitting what happened in the first place. Tim may listen, but that does not necessarily mean he will take her advice. His biggest mistake could be believing that he can control the situation. Weatherfield residents have seen countless examples of secrets spiraling out of control, and Tim's situation could follow the same dangerous pattern. The longer he maintains his story, the more difficult it will become for him to explain any contradictions. Sally could begin putting the pieces together herself. Perhaps she notices a small detail that Tim has overlooked. Maybe something he says does not match what she has already been told. Whatever the clue may be, it could be enough to convince Sally that her husband is keeping something important from her. That could lead to an explosive confrontation. Sally may demand the truth, refusing to accept another excuse. Tim could attempt to defend himself, insisting that he was only trying to protect someone or prevent a difficult situation from getting worse. But Sally might not see it that way. For her, honesty could be more important than ever. The danger is that Tim's lie may not only affect his relationship with Sally. Other people could become involved, potentially turning a private problem into a much wider Weatherfield crisis. Once another person discovers the truth, Tim could find himself trapped. He may have to decide whether to finally confess or tell yet another lie to protect the original one. That decision could have major consequences. Sally's warning could therefore prove to be more than just an argument between husband and wife. It could become a crucial moment in the storyline, giving Tim one final opportunity to stop the situation from escalating. However, Tim has a history of making decisions under pressure, and his latest choice could prove particularly risky. Sally may also begin to question whether she can trust him. Trust is one of the most important parts of any relationship, and once it has been damaged, rebuilding it can be incredibly difficult. If Sally discovers that Tim deliberately lied to her, she could feel betrayed. Even if Tim's intentions were good, Sally may argue that he should have told her the truth from the beginning. That emotional fallout could become one of the biggest parts of the storyline. Viewers could see a very different side of Sally as she refuses to simply forgive and forget. She may demand answers and insist that Tim take responsibility for his actions. Meanwhile, Tim could become increasingly desperate. The more people who become suspicious, the harder it will be for him to maintain his version of events. He could find himself caught between protecting his secret and protecting his marriage. Eventually, something may have to give. The most dramatic possibility is that Sally discovers the truth before Tim is ready to confess. If that happens, their confrontation could be intense. Sally could accuse Tim of making the situation worse by lying, while Tim could argue that he believed he was doing the right thing. Neither may be willing to back down. And with emotions running high, there is always the possibility that another secret could emerge. That is what makes the storyline particularly intriguing. Tim's lie may only be the beginning. Sally's warning suggests that she could already sense danger approaching. If Tim ignores her, he may soon discover that the consequences are far more serious than he expected. For viewers, the big question will be whether Tim eventually comes clean or doubles down on his deception. Will Sally uncover the truth? Can Tim repair the damage once his lie is exposed? And could his attempt to protect himself ultimately put his relationship with Sally at risk? Whatever happens next, the pressure is clearly building. Sally has given Tim a warning, but whether he chooses to listen could determine what happens next. In Weatherfield, secrets rarely remain hidden forever, and Tim may soon discover that the truth has a way of catching up with everyone. With another major confrontation potentially on the horizon, Coronation Street viewers could be in for an emotional and dramatic series of scenes as Sally fights to uncover what Tim is really hiding. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Crown ST.